need you. I don't know the words anymore. Life is a roller coaster, been inside it. All right.
Hello and welcome to episode 15 of The Unusual Suspects. My name is Dan and joining me is... Who do I go first? Penny. Hello, Penny.
Hi.
All very exciting here. And also...
I know. I wanted to cut you off when you were introducing it. I don't know why. I'm suddenly excited.
Off, and also joining us is our belovable, happy...
Belovable?
Belovable. Is that a word?
It's a good... No, but it is now.
Can we do a take two? Fuck this.
No, I like belovable. Keep it.
Belovable fucking made up word, Andy.
Hello.
You always have the same fucking intro. It's just, hello.
So gentle.
Hello. I'm just me, Andy, here.
I'm a nice guy.
I just like to watch movies on the weekends and sometimes.
And then get angry about them.
Good. Well, thanks for that. Unfortunately, I can't do a fake Canadian accent.
Okay, right. I'm not Canadian.
Now, children, don't make me turn this podcast around.
I just sound Canadian. I'm actually half British, half Irish. So, fuck you. Anyway, welcome to episode 15. We're off to a great start. How is everyone?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't nod.
I'll be
Andy,
honest.
You have to.
I'm still eating.
It's because he's eating Haribo.
Would you stop fucking eating on the... I said fucking get all your eating out of the way before we start, or just have a Lunchable.
I finished my sweets.
Look, you hurried me. I had to finish.
What are you eating?
It was a bar of M&M chocolate.
Not a sponsor.
It's fine.
It's absolutely fine.
It's fine. Is it the same chocolate that's in the M&Ms that the M&Ms are in?
No.
Oh.
It's like shit Easter egg chocolate with peanut M&Ms.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It was a birthday present. I had to be grateful, but also I turned my nose up when it was given to me.
Are they listening to this?
Yeah, hopefully they don't
It's
listen.
unlikely. She doesn't listen to many of them.
Hi, Andy's sister.
Ooh.
I'm assuming that's who it's from, wasn't it? Oh.
Let's keep going. Let's keep rolling.
Yeah.
And there'll be more M&S reviews coming on the next podcast. Can you believe we've been doing this for 15 weeks?
No.
That's weird. It's weird.
I'll be honest,
isn't it?
I'm sick of the sight of
I
you
know.
both.
By episode 6, I think.
I can't believe it's September. I'm still in like the end of May, beginning of June in my head, because I'm still not working. So September is
Hey, welcome to the club.
a shock.
So, I did something... Well, okay, I've got a few things to say. I'm going to get 2 of them out of the way because people would like to know, maybe, including Penny's sister. I watched Joker, the Bollywood film from a couple of episodes ago. If you remember...
You better have found out what the orb was about or she's going to be mad.
I'm going to run through this quickly. The Joker was a Bollywood film that Penny, Jenny, and Andy picked out from a list of 10 worst rated Bollywood films. I showed them the poster and gave them a short synopsis of what the plot was about. They picked Joker, which seemed to be about a film about a scientist who goes and finds some sort of aliens, and the poster looked like it was from The Wizard of Oz, and that's why they picked that film for me to go and watch. Okay, the film is about a guy who is a scientist, yes, and what happens is his wife, her dad, is ill, so they go to that tourist location that was on the front of the movie that we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Lumpur, I think that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go to that place, which is just like a little village, like a remote village, so it seems weird that they put that on the front of the box. Already confused by that. Father's ill, and while they're there, they accidentally create some crop circles in the village. And then the press come along, and this scientist is like, yeah, we've seen the aliens.
How do you accidentally create a crop circle?
I think
It's impressive.
it's not really clear from what I was just watching because it was fucking all over the place, but it seemed like he was like, let's pretend the aliens came here because it's like in a remote village and I need to do this because I'm a scientist, and if I don't find aliens,
So I need to fake science.
yeah, he actually gets told he will get fired if he doesn't find the aliens. So
That's really harsh.
yeah.
That's a big ask.
Yeah, and then the twist at the end is spoilers, everyone. Sorry. Twist at the end is he creates all these crop circles and stuff, and the press turn up and go, "Oh my god, he's found the aliens!" The aliens are dressed up as people in the village, so they're like, that's where the weird costumes came in on that poster. There's people dressed up as aliens and shit.
Is that why there's like a ET in a pumpkin suit?
Yeah,
I'm just
so
looking at the poster.
they're the aliens.
Look like a praying mantis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the press start to believe that they're actual aliens when they're clearly just people in the suits. But the twist is, at the end of the film, actual aliens turn up.
Of course they do. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they saw the crop circles.
Yeah.
Because they saw the crop circles and CGI aliens turn up, and they
How do they look?
awful, but the
Better or worse than the people in the suit?
worse, somehow worse. Then, because they crashed their alien spaceship on the crop circle, hidden underneath was a bunch of oil, and it sprayed out into the air, and now this guy's rich.
No.
That's the ending.
It's not his oil.
That's the ending.
Whose field were they putting the crop circles in? It's not his
Just
oil.
some village in the middle of nowhere.
So the village is rich, not him.
No, they're doing the Bollywood dancing around scene at the end. They're like, "Oh, we're so happy, we've got money."
Oh yeah, that dance.
It's
very similar to 5, 6, 7, 8 by Steps. Niche reference there.
there you go.
Very niche.
You don't need to tell me that this was bad. I watched Jism 2 very quickly as well.
No one asks you to watch that. You watched it of your own
No.
accord, didn't you?
I know. Jism 2 was on that list, for anyone who doesn't know. That was number 10, and because it was called Jism 2 and it looked like a rip-off Bollywood 50 Shades of Grey with some weird spy James Bond thing going on, I had to check it out because Jism 2, come on guys.
Did it make sense without you watching Jism 1?
Yes, but then again...
Okay, that's something.
So Sonny Leone is the actor that plays a porn star, and she's actually a porn star in real life in that film.
Okay.
And it's 2 hours long, right? And the majority of the film, she's just in lingerie, of course. It's an erotic Bollywood thriller, apparently. She falls in love with like an assassin. She's like a secret agent. She's going to kill an assassin. She falls in love with the assassin, but she's also got a boyfriend. And there's like 50 billion love scenes between each of these men where she's like, but I love you. And he loves you. But I love you. Like constant fucking back and forth of going back between them. Her boyfriend kills her, and then she kills him. And then she lives with the assassin and in the afterlife. The end.
Okay, I've got a few questions. I thought, firstly, it was supposed to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
It nearly got banned because it was so explicit. I mean, there's no like nudity, but there's like a lot of...
Implied.
Yeah.
A lot of Jism.
There's a lot for a Bollywood film. There's no kissing. There's more dancing than anything, but there's a lot of...
Dancing lying down.
Yeah. Whatever that means.
My second question is, if it had been Sasha Grey, would you have rated it?
I don't know, why is there a thing against me and Sasha Grey?
You started it.
She just was bad in that movie. That was it. That was my
Everyone
comment.
was bad in that movie, though.
That was true.
Jeffrey was not. Thank you.
Oh, Bevins.
But the main
Oh,
point...
Bevins. Bevins was great.
The main point I want to get to, I went to the cinema, guys. This might be old news by the time this comes up, but I went to the fucking cinema, and I'm so happy I went back. I am your human guinea pig. Ask me anything about the cinema.
Did you get corona?
Oh, fuck's sake. No, I didn't get corona. No.
Well, that seems to be the most important question.
Yeah, she meant the beer as well.
Yeah, did you get a corona?
No, they had a limited menu, unfortunately. That was one thing.
Oh.
They had a limited menu.
Did they play My Sharona?
They didn't play My Sharona. Look, all right, so...
Did you go to Taco Bell?
No, it wasn't open. Weirdly, it wasn't open. Strange. Right next door as well. So anyway, I went to kind of a large chain, if people not listening from the UK, called Cineworld, and they have an IMAX. I'm sure most people know what IMAX is. So I went to see Christopher Nolan's new film, Tenet. And the cinema side, I'll quickly talk about that. It was fine. There was a couple of things I was a bit weirded out. So you have to go into the cinema with a mask on, obviously. and everyone's kind of free to kind of roam around in the lobby and stuff. And the popcorn is not fresh as well. I think it's in bags as well, so you can get fresh popcorn. Limited menu.
Hot dogs, nachos.
No hot dogs, no nachos.
What is the point?
Fuck the cinema. Let's let it fail together. No hot dogs.
That's where they make their money.
Never eaten a cinema hot dog or cinema nachos.
You're missing out. They are both.
You are definitely not
outrageous.
They are lukewarm.
No, Nando's is next door.
Yeah.
Great contact, guys. The glue that holds it together. Right, so there was a couple of things, like they wouldn't touch the tickets. You know how they normally rip the tickets off and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Now they put it on like a plate. So you give them a ticket and they say, put it on the plate, please. And then they rip the ticket, hand you the plate back, and you take the ticket off.
But surely you've already touched the ticket, so the plate is irrelevant.
I know.
And they've also touched the ticket that's on the plate.
Exactly. Some things I was a bit confused about. I was like, okay, cool. Also, the doors weren't like opening like automatically, so people were touching it as well, which also was a bit weird. Again, this is just one cinema. Won't name where it is, but it was an IMAX. It should have been a little bit better. So the seating, you can go into the cinema and then take your mask off once you sit in your seats to eat and obviously drink and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
The weird thing is that they left 2 seats either side of you free, so that no one's kind of sitting next to you. Although 2 seats is about about a meter and 2 meters, maybe. I'm pushing it.
I could lay down in like 2 seats if I'm 5'2".
How big are these seats?
Like it's not 5. It's not 5 feet.
It was IMAX, so it was pretty big seats.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the odd thing is they didn't have any kind of restrictions for people behind you or in front of you, which I found even weirder, because of course if you were coughing, you'd be coughing forwards,
You'd be coughing into the back of your head.
Yeah, exactly. And there was people like right behind us, kind of near us at the back. But
what did they do with seat allocation? Because like I imagine you're quite prompt getting to your seat, but there's always idiots who turn up late and then have to fucking trample all over people.
Mate, I have a fucking ridiculous story. So like, you know how you can get into the seats from either side? This couple, right, were sitting on like G23, which was right at the end on the left hand side. They decided to go into the middle, and then everyone had to stand up while they took off their mask. They sat down, took off their mask, and now these people come along and like, excuse me, and they sit right at the end where they could have just gone around the other side. People.
Oh, no.
That's the problem. They should have
fuck those people.
They should just give you a row, and if you're in that row first, you immediately go straight to the end.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't have that, so it felt a bit. It did feel a tad bit unorganized, a little bit. That's all I'm going to say. It was a teeny weeny unorganized, but
well, I could do it like in a theatre. You know, you have I know they check the tickets, but like a usher. And be like, right, like you said, like you're in row G and you have someone put them there.
Yeah, knowing this cinema though, I would be surprised that the people working there know where the seats are.
They literally, as soon as they took our tickets to get into the area where you go to different screens, that we were on our own. So we just went everywhere. And there's no one else there, no staff.
Dan starts licking the walls.
Exactly.
I'll show you.
I went fucking crazy.
Pissing in every toilet just for a laugh.
But without stopping.
Yeah. Can't break the stream.
But in terms of busyness, I would say it was like, it wasn't packed, especially for like the second day Tenet came out. Like I was a bit surprised it wasn't packed, but then again, I know some people have fears going there and stuff, so it was okay in terms of attendance. Like there were still seats available, like spread out. You could have put people in, so it seemed a bit weird that Christopher Nolan film in the IMAX wasn't packed out on a Saturday night as well. So
yeah, I mean, people are still apprehensive though. I haven't been to a pub yet. I've only gone out for dinner once. I'm not planning to go to the cinema.
No, me neither.
Yeah, we went to one restaurant and sat outside, and that's it.
But other than that, it was all right, and I'll probably go again to see, I don't know, the fucking New Mutants, whatever it's called.
Mutants.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I saw.
Might even come with you for that. I'm in for that.
Yeah, sure, why not? So I saw Tenet, which is Christopher Nolan's new film. Christopher Nolan, if you don't know, come on, he made Batman, he made Inception, he made Dunkirk, he made fucking
Memento,
Prestige, Memento. Yeah, he made a lot of fucking else. You know so Tenet is his latest and non-spoiler review, obviously very quick non-spoiler review of it. because it's the first new film we've talked about. I mean, since we started this fucking podcast, I guess. It's not going to be for everyone, and that's the general synopsis I got from everyone leaving the theater. I had some people going out, saying, what the fuck was that? Some people going, that was really good.
I believe friend of the podcast, Liam, had some words I probably can't really repeat. He did not like this movie.
Say them anyway. Repeat them, because they were gold.
You say that, but I've got to find them.
Wasn't it something like it was pretentious, just over the top nonsense or something? I can't remember, but...
Tenet is a bloated... Tenant, because he's written Tenet. Is that what
it's
is
Tenet,
it called?
T-E-N-E-T.
Oh, it is Tenet.
Tenant.
Yeah, ignore it.
Tenet is a bloated, self-important mirror wank of a film. All style, zero substance. A guy who smokes too much weed who thinks he's a philosopher because he's watched a few YouTube videos. At this point, I'm pretty sure Christopher Nolan's obsession with bending space and time is all leading up to him training himself how to bend all the way around and pick his own arsehole. I love you, Liam.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He has a way with words.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how I follow up.
You obviously didn't agree.
No, I understand where he's coming from, definitely. It is, the one thing the good side of Tenet is that it is fucking balls to the wall, action packed. If you ever saw Dunkirk, you know that when you watch Dunkirk, it is straight into the action. There's no backstory. Christopher Nolan just doesn't do characters anymore. He just goes, right, here we go. Let's start the film.
Pew pew!
Pew pew, bang bang bang. Yeah, it's literally that. So it is literally, after missing the cinema for so long, it was, and watching in the fucking IMAX, it was fucking great, to be honest. Like, it looks amazing. The visual effects, I think, is just outstanding. Like, they are some of the craziest things I've ever seen. And he doesn't use a lot of special effects, Christopher Nolan, at all in his films. So he didn't in this, and it just... Some of the things that happen in it are just mind-boggling how he managed to get it done. There's a lot of it, like, it's really good, and it's a story that is easy to stick with. The issue with it that people are going to have is the whole gimmick, which is about reversing time. And it's explained slowly throughout the film. He kind of shows it to you, and you have to kind of accept it and go, okay, this is what's in this world.
Yeah, but Andy
time.
can't suspend his disbelief, so it's not going to work.
He might have trouble with it, I would say, but like, it's just slowly, like, the lore of it and how it works is kind of like drawn out throughout the film, so it does take a while. It's a 2.5 hour film as well, so it's a long fucking drawn out one.
Fuck that.
Whoa,
I'm
fucking
out.
hell. Jesus Christ.
I'm in,
but
I'm still in.
I'm out. I don't care about his films anyway.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Not enough horror in it for her.
Not enough horror.
Nope.
But it's honestly like a visual mad fucking house. My brain like hurt after watching it. It was just like so much stuff going on screen. It is just crazy how they film. I really want to see the making of this film because it's fucking mental. And it's just, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in it that you've never probably seen before, like filmed in a movie before, like pulled off to the degree where it's not CGI and it's just real.
Are they doing it in 4DX?
I don't think so.
What? You haven't even seen anything in 4DX?
I saw the Bugs Life thing at Disneyland.
I mean, similar, but I was just asking.
I was also 10, in fairness.
Yeah, so just don't me.
How did it compare to the first time you saw Inception?
Oh, that's a good one, actually. I think Inception's easier to understand because it's dreams. It's kind of something we kind of all do, and it's something easier to kind of understand. With this, again, I don't want to give too much away, but it's like they're trying their best to educate you of how this weird time warp works. But the problem with it is that so much happens with it. Like, it doesn't happen in the film. This is just a little example. So if someone's going forward in time, say if they're running down the hallway, if someone's going backwards in time, they're going to start when that guy gets to the end of the hallway. And then they're going to finish when that guy, is at the start of the hallway. So when they're trying to film both things at the same time and show you on screen, which is fucking amazing when they do it, but when they try to explain how that works and follow along with everyone's kind of path and what they're doing, it gets really fucking confusing. And some people I could see in the cinema going, I don't know what's going on. Like, there's so much being thrown at me at the same time. Another quick complaint I want to make is just the same thing I had with Batman and Interstellar, because I saw them both in the IMAX. And I don't know if it's the IMAX, but I heard other people have the same problem with Tenet when they went to the cinema and anywhere else. The mixing is bad. So you can barely hear some people talking. Main characters saying like important shit because the fucking sound effects are over it and the music's over it. So you just get like that, and it's just like...
that seems to be like a common thing with Nolan.
Yeah.
And Transformers films as well.
I haven't seen Transformers.
Michael Bay.
That doesn't sound like a thing a good director
Well,
would
it's sound engineering. I don't know if Christopher Nolan, whoever he hires, is fucking shit.
Well, no, but Christopher Nolan's like, yeah, that's fine. Whoever's doing the sound.
You don't see that.
Doesn't sound like.
You don't see that from John Carpenter, do you?
I think it's the case of Nolan is so focused on the visual aspect that he forgets about the sound sometimes. But
that also doesn't. How is he so famous? That sounds shit.
No, it's kind of like, I don't know. Like the sound is amazing. Like the sound quality is amazing. It's just not, the volume levels are just like sometimes like this podcast in the early stage where it's just sometimes not right. Someone's a bit too low, someone's a bit too high. That's it. But it's.
But
still,
we've had enough practice now, so we've got better. So he definitely should have sorted it out by now, right?
Yeah, but we've had more episodes out than he's had films out. I'm fairly certain.
Maybe.
Give him credit. He's only made a multi-million
He'll get there.
movie or
Just
something.
got to keep practicing. You can do it, Chris.
But I think it was.
We believe in you.
I think it was good.
Everyone's got to start sometime.
Yeah, found footage, man.
Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you guys?
Twitter beef callback.
But I do.
Sorry.
One day I'll get my words out. But I do think it's still a really good film. I don't think it's Christopher Nolan's best. I would probably put this just behind Dunkirk and Inception ahead and Interstellar ahead and all that. But it's still worth the watch, but you could wait for it to come out on Blu-ray. 8 out of 10.
Interesting.
There you go.
I went on, well, you guys know, I went on a documentary binge. I'm having a documentary phase. Before that, though, I watched Random Acts of Violence, which is Jay Baruchel's new horror movie. I'm waiting for everyone to be surprised.
Oh, wow.
Netflix original. Jay Baruchel does a bunch of stuff, but I love him as the voice in How to Train Your Dragon. What?
Out of all the movies, I was thinking,
yeah.
He was in, what was he in? The End of the World. That was good too.
How to Train Your Dragon, that's the best one.
That movie is fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Saw the second one in the cinema. Cried my fucking eyes out.
Pussy.
Anyway, I watched that, which is available on my favourite streaming service, Shudder.
Didn't you just say it was a Netflix original?
I did, which is wrong. It is a Shudder original.
Oh, that Shudder fucking
Wait, what do you know
sponsorship
watch
is
it
gone
on?
now.
I know. I watched so many streaming services this weekend. Random Acts of Violence, which is a Shudder original. So then I can edit that all together later.
We know the truth.
I can't wait for Ronan Keating. Oh dear. Mistakes on this podcast are like buses. Sometimes they don't arrive at all. Sometimes you get two at once. Penny, you're not doing the editing. And Andy, I'm so disappointed in yourself. Yourself, myself, it doesn't matter. I'm disappointed. There is no Ronan Keating. We are being treated to the gonk. On with the show.
As it's brand new, I'm not going to go into it. It was what's better than Absolutely Fine, but not somewhere in between Absolutely Fine and amazing.
Good.
Decent.
It was good. I liked it. I would recommend it. It was quite stylized. You guys like that shit, so you know.
You guys like.
They're giving me all these faces.
Sorry. You guys like that shit.
Yeah, you like stylized stuff.
Yeah, I like good movies that sometimes look good. If that's what you mean.
It's a good movie, and it also looks good.
Okay.
It's about a guy that writes a comic book about a murderer, and murders happen. It's nothing groundbreaking, but I enjoyed it, so go and watch that.
Cool.
Today I watched a movie called Single AF for the podcast. It was so terrible, we're not going to talk about it. And then I watched a bunch of documentaries, the Blackout Experiments. If anyone can catch that, Andy and I were talking about it. It is about an immersive haunted house experience. Is that the best way to describe it? It's I think they've got them in LA and New York now, I think.
That's how you described it to me.
Yeah, like, so it's not quite a haunted house, you know, like
Disneyland,
Universal Horror, you know, like yeah, it's not like one of those scary mazes they do at Universal or whatever that you go through and people jump out. It's
other theme parks are available.
I really like Saw Maze. No one will get that reference.
Yeah, it's not one of those. It was really interesting. It was a bit more tailored to scare the individual. It was a bit like it's not called the McKinley House, it's the something house. I can't remember. How do you know
McMuffin.
The McMuffin House, and he runs a scary house. It was on Dark Tourist, if anybody saw that, and they waterboard you and tie you up and bury you, and it's like it's fucking nuts, isn't it? He's a psychopath.
It's essentially just torture with a horror facade.
Yeah.
And people pay to...
Yeah.
So wait, sorry. So, hang on.
Yeah.
So people pay to get, like, waterboarded and tortured? How torture are we talking?
It's bad. The guy that does it, he actually doesn't charge people for that house, does he?
It's totally free. Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't even charge people.
There's a place called the McCamey Manor, which is America's most extreme haunted house, and the Netflix show Dark Tourist covered it a little bit, but he doesn't let anyone really film it. But there's waterboarding and like suffocating people. I can't think what else they did to him, but most people don't get through it.
Sounds like a fun day out for all the family.
Well, and doesn't it last like 12 hours or something?
Yeah, so you sign like contracts at 6 p.m.
You sign a waiver that like you might break bones and
potentially die.
Like
what?
Yeah, so you sign like this waiver at like 6 p.m. and then they collect you at midnight and spend the whole night essentially torturing you for 12 hours.
What is this? Would you rather or something? What the fuck?
It's fucking worse than Would You Rather.
Worse.
All you've got to do in Would You Rather is firstly electrocute someone, then cut an eyeball, and then decide if you want to drown or not. It's bullshit.
Fake drown.
Yeah, and it's got like, I'm trying to find, he doesn't really talk about it much, does he?
No.
So I can't really find any.
I doubt he wants to talk. I mean, isn't that illegal? I mean, does anyone?
Well, it's because people sign waivers and he does it for free, which is why Andy and I were like, he's a psychopath. Like he enjoys it.
Yeah.
He used to work for the military or the CIA as like an interrogator.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing. The chances are if he wasn't doing this haunted house shit, he would be out there murdering people. I'm slightly concerned that he's going to tap me up and try and murder me now. But yeah, he's a proper fucked up dude.
Okay.
So he's got some lovely dogs though, I seem to remember.
He does. Like, you could break bones. People have come into contact with raw sewage. He might shave your head.
Oh good, I need a haircut.
You might be buried alive. You might have to drink your own puke. I'm just reading things now.
You must be over 5 centimeters to ride this.
5 centimeters? What are you trying to get on it? A fucking snail?
I mean, he sounds like he accepts anyone, Jesus.
I feel like he has a massive waiting list as well.
Yeah. He only does like...
What?
I think he only does like one, like a handful a year.
Yeah.
What?
And you have to have a psych evaluation before you do it.
Why doesn't he have a fucking psych evaluation? Jesus
It's
Christ.
an excellent question.
I've just seen that somebody started a petition because they're like, it's just torture.
Yeah.
But like, attendees are locked in coffins filled with insects and spiders.
Oh, fuck that. No.
It's filled with scenarios to physically break people, locked in a tank full of
Oh,
eels.
fuck off.
The experience can take up to 8 hours, but nobody's ever done the whole.
It's like a shit, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
Yeah, it sounds like
I
it.
mean, I would rather watch this with certain celebrities.
You ready for your bush tucker trial? Gotta eat your own shit.
You might die. As if you wouldn't watch that. But basically, I watched the Blackout Experiments was a similar thing, but it seemed to be slightly more psychological for them. It's also not as long. I think it was about 25 minutes kind of session, and they will ask you lots of questions. Like, one of the main guys in it, he hated being a failure, so they would call him one and act on that. But he got naked. They made him get naked in that because it was like a vulnerability. They've been waterboarded and tied up and thrown around, but that was really interesting because they all kind of got a little bit addicted to it. And then it kind of got to a point, they had a final one and they're like, you don't need this anymore. Like, it was more of a psychological thing rather than just a
Torture.
madman torturing people. Like, they definitely got something out of it. I don't really know what.
We suddenly don't know what it was. Okay.
No, but that was really cool. I watched the Slender Man documentary, which I forgot to look up what it was called. Do we all know about Creepypasta and Slender Man?
Yeah.
And then there was 2 girls that stabbed their friend for Slender Man. Watch that. Those girls are not well. Spoilers. But that was really interesting. And then I watched a documentary about furries. Which
God, yeah. We got loads of messages about that.
I was going to say, did you watch anything light-hearted? But
the furries was light-hearted.
I think furries is the nearest you got to light-hearted.
Yeah. I also watched a documentary about video nasties that was pretty cool. And I got halfway through a documentary about the making of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So there you go. So because the film I watched for today was not worth talking about, it is now time for another round of Would You Rather. Yay!
Oh, wrong jingle player. I'm so used to it. I'm so used to it with you. It's automatically ready for you. That's all.
Quick, make up a Would You Rather jingle.
Would you rather be waterboarded or eat your own shit? There we go. Done.
I'd rather be waterboarded.
Oh. Andy, when we were talking about it, he was like, I've always wanted to be waterboarded.
Oh, what the
And I've been a little bit worried about it.
I don't know why. It just interests me.
While you've got a huge boner on you. Is that right?
Yeah, that's why I'm sat under the table. You can't see it.
You'll be glad to know there's no beast penises in these. They're all quite tame compared to last time.
That's a damn shame.
Wasn't the last...
Do we have to electrocute anyone or whip someone with a big stick?
I went for movie ones, so they're all a bit tame. So if anyone's got any good ones. I even asked Jenny. There was no beast penises.
Yeah, well, the last one was whether we fuck Tarzan or the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. And... I think we just said Tarzan because it was fun. Oh, at least I said it was Tarzan because you want to swing.
I didn't.
Yeah, you wanted
I wanted
to
a cuddle afterwards, so I went for the Beast.
That was it, yeah.
So would you rather have your memory wiped so you can enjoy seeing your favourite movie for the first time, or have them make a good sequel of your favourite movie? So I know Andy's is Scott Pilgrim. So would you rather feel like you haven't seen it and get to watch it again for the first time, or then make a decent sequel?
Do I lose my entire memory or just the memory of watching Scott Pilgrim?
Good question. Let's go with just the memory of Scott Pilgrim.
That one memory.
Because otherwise that's too complicated.
I feel like I watched Scott Pilgrim first, then read the comics, and then did all the nerd stuff, and then rewatched it and went, actually, this is fucking fantastic. So can I wipe the second time? Or actually, no, I'm going to wipe the first time.
Just answer the
question. Shut up, I'm doing it. I'm going to wipe the first time and then rewatch it after I've done the research. Yeah, I'm going to do that. What was the options?
Yeah, I'm confused. You can't remember watching it, so you get to see it for the first time new, or they make Scott Pilgrim 2.
Is it every time you watch it, it's like the first time?
No, just once.
Just once.
Jesus Christ, it's not that hard.
I'll do that.
I didn't think this was complicated. So either you can't remember you don't know anything about Scott Pilgrim, and you get to watch it again for the first time, or they make a really good Scott Pilgrim 2.
I think he's lost his fucking memory at this point. What was the question again?
I'm going to go for the second one. I'm going to wait for a sequel.
Okay.
Nah, man, I'll go first one. I'd be like, I want to see it again first time. Definitely. Sequels can be disappointing. That's the thing, as we talked about in a previous episode.
Yeah, but I think if I had done all like the reading and the stuff for Scott Pilgrim and then watched the film after having done that, I would be disappointed.
Would you want a Scott Pilgrim too?
No, I wouldn't.
Well,
I'd ask them to make it. I just wouldn't watch it.
Seems unnecessary.
That's weird. All right, fine. All right. Makes sense. Yeah, I'd wipe my memory and watch my favourite film.
What's your favourite film?
What's my favourite film?
It's probably something like Juno.
Probably something fucking artistic and stylistic.
Judo.
I like that you say that like you don't know. Do you not know?
I don't have a favourite film, no. No, I don't.
Oh, fair enough.
Sorry, I'm boring that. So yeah.
Sorry.
We can't all be Andy's,
No.
unfortunately.
This one specifically...
Whoa, hang on a second. I didn't say Scott Pilgrim was my favourite film.
No,
Penn
I
said
did
that.
say
She appointed me Scott
I did.
Pilgrim.
Oh, we all know Scott Pilgrim's your favourite film.
Yeah, what else is
You
it?
never-
I don't know. Fantastic Mr. Fox.
So this one made me think of Andy specifically. Would you rather watch a movie all the way through to the last 30 minutes and then never see the end, or put the end at the beginning of the movie and then you know what happens all the way through?
Oh, no, first one. Definitely. I wouldn't want to
So
see
you'd
him.
never see the end of any movie. You'd hatch it the end of every movie.
I would like, because some movies do that, leave it to your own kind of...
Sopranos.
Yeah, but it would be every film. You'd be so unsatisfied.
Yeah, but then you just see fucking endings. What's the point in watching an ending if there's no context beforehand?
No, you see the ending, then you see the rest of the film.
I mean,
it's like a Chris Nolan film. You just see it in reverse and weird orders.
Memento.
It's like Memento. Yeah. Do you want to memento every film?
No, because then every film would be the same.
So you'd rather not see the end of every film?
I mean...
Yeah, but every film would start the same way, the ending first, so it would be the same.
No, they wouldn't all be the same, because if I watch the end of like Friday the 13th, that's not going to be the same film as Finding Dory just because you've put the end at the beginning.
It'd be funny though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but the structure of it is exactly the same. So I'd rather have the missing ending.
Are you off your fucking tits? What are you talking about?
Most films have
You'd rather not see the end of any film.
Beginning, middle, end structure.
Everyone would agree with me this.
Films?
Why would you want to watch every film that has the same structure of the ending is first and then the rest of the film? That would be boring over time.
Yeah,
but don't films already have the same structure of a beginning, middle and end except Memento?
Yeah, but you get the most important part that doesn't make sense at the start, and like, what if Memento, what if there was a twist? You get the twist first and that'd be ruined
because then
at the
you
start
work
of the
out
film.
where the twist comes. That's the game. I'd rather watch the end and then watch the rest of it, because then I would reverse engineer it as it goes through instead of
like Flandemic.
Yeah, instead of fucking Flandemic. Why the fuck are there Muppets in this film? I didn't ask for this. And then I'd watch the rest of it.
You'll find out.
And then I'd find out why there's Muppets.
Why is Kermit dead?
Yes.
I don't think I could not know what happens in the end of films ever.
I want to know if Dominic Toretto gets arrested, and I'm happy to find that out at the beginning instead of at the end of one of, Fast and Furious 17 or whatever.
Imagine 7, okay? Imagine you saw the end of 7 first, and then you saw the build-up. Actually, that might work a little bit.
Yeah.
It would still suck, but both of these are supposed to be sucky decisions.
But also, Dan, imagine 7, you get all the way up to the end, and then you never find out what's in the box.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
What about Kaiser Soze?
Oh, you're such a prick.
You'd never know about Kaiser Soze.
I don't know.
You'd never find out if Toothless gets off the boat in How to Train the Dragon.
Stop fucking spoiling things for people.
You'd never know if the Avengers won.
Oh, who gives a shit? Anyway,
everyone else.
I tell you what, you would be able to tell without the ending that Woody is a prick, though.
Next one.
So we're in an alternative universe type situation. Would you rather watch Jackie Chan in a tense political thriller or Tom Hanks in a high-octane kung fu movie where he does all his own stunts?
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
This is amazing.
That's a tricky one.
From the internet. This is good.
So Jackie Chan in a political thriller.
Yep, in like a tense, serious political thriller.
And Tom Hanks doing his own stunts.
Doing his own kung fu stunts.
Oh,
it's
Tom
got to be
Hanks.
Tom Cruise. Yeah.
Tom Cruise. What the fuck?
Never
Fuck Tom Cruise. It's got to be Tom Hanks.
It's because you're
Tom Hanks, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, got to see it on screen to believe it.
I want to see him try and crane kick a fellow 60-year-old man in the face.
Imagine they made Crank 3. Sorry.
Oh, but
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks in Crank 3. That would be amazing.
They reboot Shanghai Noon. And Tom Hanks plays Jackie Chan.
That'd be good.
Amazing. Would you rather see a Batman... This is very apt for what we've been talking about. Would you rather see a Batman movie where the rustling of his cape is way louder than anything else in the mix? So from what I have now learned, this could happen.
This happens, yeah.
I didn't know this when I found it. Or James Corden plays Alfred in all the Batman
the
movies.
rustling.
The fucking rustling.
rustling.
Fuck James Corden after that fucking film.
Originally, the one that I found was Lee Evans as Alfred, but
no.
James Corden would be worse.
Yeah.
But you literally can't. You can barely hear anything else except the cape rustling.
That'd be hilarious. I'd love it.
I'd still rather have that than James fucking Corden shitting on any film.
Yeah.
What about Lee Evans?
Nah, I don't like British people.
Yeah.
You don't like British people?
You say you don't like British people?
Moving on.
We apologise to British people.
Not all of them. A lot of them are pricks.
Yeah.
Damage limitation there, Jesus.
And this one is really anticlimactic, but it made me laugh. Has nothing to do with movies. Would you rather sweat milk or sneeze glitter?
Sweat milk or sneeze glitter?
Interesting question. Last night Dan had to sneak out to get some milk. If he'd just wrapped himself in a duvet for a while, he could have created his own. That sounded way saucier than I thought.
Yep.
Wow.
Also, you didn't have to sneak out. You just had to go out.
That's true. Yeah.
I was going to try and sneak out to get McDonald's, but I didn't.
So, you guys have gone off in tangents, man. I'm probably the milk one because then I'll never run out of milk.
Oh, God, that's weird.
And I'll never have to go to the shop at 1 a.m. to get milk.
Yeah, but like, what if Andy comes over and wants a cup of tea? Are you giving him sweat milk or real milk?
Tough, it's organic.
Sweat milk. It's going to be sweat milk, isn't it?
Organic sweat milk.
Organic sweat milk straight from my teeth. To your heart.
It wouldn't come out of your tea. It'd come out of your armpit or wherever else you
Straight
sweat.
from my armpit to your heart. That should be our slogan for Dan's milk.
Question is, would you have different milk from whence it sweated?
Oh, Penny.
Like, would you have like ballsack milk and armpit milk?
Penny.
Would you have to like run a sponge up the crack to get all the good stuff?
Fuck's sake. Stop.
Would it taste different?
Oh.
I'd rather sneeze glitter.
Me
There you
too.
I mean, you'll never run out of it depends which one you are more, I guess, in need of. So if you're an artist or something, I guess you go for the glitter because you'll never run out of glitter.
You're never in need of glitter, but also I wouldn't.
No, and you got to be careful. You'd need a handkerchief with you at all times because if you kind of did, that glitter would get everywhere.
Yeah.
You might need a handkerchief for the milk.
Oh, the milk is genuinely making me feel uneasy. But the glitter would be dry, right? You wouldn't be snorting out big gloops of like...
Yeah. You could make like the tube and stuff really fun.
What is sneezing on people when it's glitter
You're just
everywhere?
running around the tube sneezing.
I might try that.
You'd be the life of the party.
I wonder if you snort glitter, whether you would then sneeze it out.
Probably. My dog got glitter once and pooped it out, so I assume it's a similar thing.
Yeah, I might also try that.
Glue that holds this together.
Yeah, hold us together with fucking milk.
Hey,
Sweat milk.
it might work.
It's fucking grim. It's horrible.
Milk is my answer.
I don't drink milk. This
Oh.
is another fucking reason why.
Well, then obviously you're going to choose glitter if you don't drink milk.
Well, unless I wanted to sweat out milk to fucking give to other people, which it sounds like you're doing.
If you want it or not, you can have it. It's up to you. You're taking it from a cow's
What's
teat.
wrong with Dan's teeth?
So what's the difference between taking it from my armpit, my teat, or my armpit?
Because I don't have to look a cow in the eye whilst I'm drinking it.
Is that the only reason? Look at the cow in the eye.
I can just imagine, like, as I'm bringing a cup of coffee to my mouth, you're just casually, like, slightly looking smug.
And Dan being like, is it good?
Oh, oh, is it tasty?
Yeah.
How's my milk for you? Is it lukewarm?
At least put it in the fucking fridge. Please put it in the fridge.
Lukewarm sweat milk, everybody.
Welcome to the Unusual Suspects podcast. We occasionally talk about movies.
Yeah, my fault. Sorry. But that was the last one just because it made me laugh.
It's
And
fine.
I'm glad I brought it up
Cool.
because now we know.
Now we know where the milk comes from every time you go to Dan's. Anyway,
The petrol station.
petrol station at 1 a.m. BP garage. So our film out of the hats this week. One of my choices, which was Parasite, which came out last year as a Korean film. Won Best Picture at the Oscars, I believe. Yes, Best Picture at the Oscars, and countless other nominations, I guess, and awards and stuff. But yeah, it's one that I've seen, obviously, and these two haven't. So I was very intrigued to see what they think on a first-time viewing basis. And we shall begin, I guess, guys.
And spoilers, obviously, because this is newer.
Oh, they know.
Dan says, fuck you guys, and doesn't care if he spoils it for you.
Film out of the hat is like, let's talk about the film.
Drink my milk.
Drink my milk and we'll talk about it. Now, I'm probably gonna butcher the names, so I'm just gonna kind of call people Mr. Kim, Mr. Kim's son,
Kevin!
the son, the daughter.
Sorry.
Kevin, Jessica.
Well, I could go Ki-woo Kim is the dad and stuff, but I'm probably gonna...
No, that's just... No.
There's a lot of fucking names that I just can't pronounce, so I'm just gonna simplify it a little bit.
And you've already offended some British people, so let's not offend Koreans as well.
Wouldn't be the first time. So, Parasite, yeah, let's go through it. I've put, as always, my tagline is a tragic comedy in 2 parts.
Yeah?
Best way to describe it, I guess. No? Yeah?
Yeah.
Come on,
It
guys, wake up.
was
Come on.
yeah.
What an excellent tag. I bet they're gutted they didn't use
Yeah,
that on
Dan,
the
that's
actual
correct.
poster.
That's such a good explanation of it. Oh my god.
A tragic comedy in 2 parts.
Yes, you are right, Dan. So, Parasite starts off with a family living in the slums of a South Korean city. Our main character is
Kevin.
Ki-woo Kim, which is the son of this. He's mainly the main character. I'd say the father.
Kevin.
Kevin is the main character. He doesn't get called Kevin yet, but yes, Kevin is the main character, I'd say.
Only because I'm going to get lost.
Alongside his father, called Mr. Kim, the mother, and they live with his sister as well, who's called Jessica later on in the film. So the family live in this, they're called garden units, but they're basically slums, where they are, at the start of the film, they're struggling to find a Wi-Fi signal, which is hilarious, because it's just like...
The placement of their toilet, I can't work out if it was genius.
Yeah.
Because it's did they call it a semi-basement?
Yeah. Is it a semi-basement? So the basement is in the basement?
Yeah, because it's not entirely underground level.
The window
street
was at like street level.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so then their toilet was on like a little ledge, I guess, to save space.
So a lot of the film, we'll get into it later, but a lot of the film is to do with underground basements, higher up floors and all that kind of stuff. It's a very symbolic film, this bloody thing, but we'll go through it at the end, I guess. So the family live in these kind of slums. They are struggling to find a Wi-Fi signal at the start of it. They're watching men piss in the alley. They live in a fucking terrible place. It's bad. They're poor. We know this from the very start. Their job at the moment is crafting pizza boxes for this pizza company. And during this time, there's like, I think it's a bug or it's a leaf blower gets blown into the actual apartment itself while they're doing it.
Oh, it's
there's a stink bug.
Stink bug.
It's like extermination, isn't it?
Yeah, fumigators.
There's bugs on the table that they're in and stuff. They live in a shithole, basically. But the father is, at this point, still trying to... He's kind of used to it at this point, so he's still crafting these pizza boxes as this fucking bug spray is coming into the house and everyone else is coughing. He's just like, carrying on, gotta make these pizza boxes. They, at the very start, I kind of put a little note here saying they're kind of crafty already. You kind of start to notice what type of family this is, because you don't really know. They sow the seeds a little bit with the girl with the pizza company, where they're trying to already get a part-time job with her, even though she says, you done a shit job with the boxes, guys, I'm gonna have to take 10% off your pay.
Yeah.
But they already said, oh, you need someone? Oh, you need to find a job? Oh, a part-time job, I can get a part-time job. So they're very desperate to try get jobs and stuff. At this time, I can't remember his name, but there's a wealthy friend of Kevin comes along on his bike and he's going to visit this family. He's a university student. He's well groomed. He looks a lot different from the actual family themselves, and he is going to visit them, and he's brought them a little present, mainly for Kevin.
Can I just confirm how old we think him and Kevin are?
Korean Asian people, I can never tell.
Like, I don't know how their university system works.
20?
Only because it's pertinent later.
20-ish, maybe. 2019.
Yeah, I guess here you go 18 to 21, so somewhere in between that.
So this university student comes along to the Kim family and he gives them this landscape stone. Mainly gives it to Kevin.
You mean the magic rock? That's what I wrote.
Magic rock. What the fuck is a magic rock?
Isn't it magic? Isn't that how they all get jobs? Because it's supposed to give them money.
It's a symbolic
it's a symbol of wealth.
thing,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a magic rock.
It's not a fucking magic rock, is it?
They get the magic rock
It's
and then they all get jobs.
It's not a Neil Breen film, Pen.
It's not a magic rock, Penny. So one of the things actually Kevin says when he pulls out this rock, he even goes, so metaphorical. Like, it's fourth wall breaking already, like, so metaphorical. So yeah, this rock over time, we'll talk about it, it slowly becomes like this symbol, and then it becomes a motif over time throughout the course of the film. So Kevin and this university student have a meeting together, and he finds out that this university student has to leave, and he has to give up his tutoring job for this family that he does, or this girl in this family called the Park family. And he tells Kevin, why don't you take it? You know, you need the job. And then Kevin's like, no, I don't have qualifications. How am I meant to do what, you do, essentially? And he's just kind of like, well, just say you did stuff in the military for 4 years. You took exams on English and stuff like that. Just, and slowly but surely they start making Photoshop stuff. They start making documents to make him look legit.
Are we going to talk about why he wants Kevin to take the job?
Well, he says he wants to go out with this girl, or ask this girl out once she gets to university.
So how old is this kid that he's tutoring?
I don't know.
That was just a thing. I was like, she looks young and he...
Very young.
Yeah. I'm like you said, like Koreans and Japanese people look younger. But I was like, she's like 15 and he's like 20 or something. It was kind of awkward.
I I don't know. I can't really tell with Asian people really. I've seen people that I thought look 40 and they apparently look 20 and stuff or the other way around. Sorry, they look younger than.
I think you mean the other way around. Don't make it worse.
They look younger than they normally do, kind of thing. So I'm not sure, but yeah, this university guy, a friend of Kevin, is kind of in love with this girl that he's tutoring, but he has to go away. When she eventually goes to uni, he's going to ask her out and stuff like this. So Kevin takes his place. He's going to get all these documents and he's going to visit the Park family. So he goes to the house
his sister forges all the documents.
Photoshop them.
She's got good art skills.
Which will come in handy later, kind of, later. So we get to the Park house, and now this real beautiful, shiny, bright.
So pretty.
The house was amazing. I couldn't stop thinking about it.
A fun fact about the house, the upstairs is CGI, so when you see the outside of the house, it's only the bottom floor that's there. It's weird, but yeah.
That big focal
that's real
window that they had, the big one, that was so
amazing.
pretty. I mean, not the window.
They wanted to make it like as bright as possible, obviously for reasons. So Kevin goes to the Park family. He meets Mrs. Park first, I believe, and then later Mr. Park.
Well, he meets the housekeeper.
Housekeeper, yes.
And then for some reason, Mrs. Park is like asleep on a table outside.
Slumped at a table.
I'm like, is she dead? Is she drunk?
I thought she was drunk.
Yeah, she's sort of worn out, I guess. There's a very cool little thing at this point, especially in that shot when you see her and it comes back a little later. I'm going to be really detail-y and stuff, but there's a lot of things to do with crossing the line in this film.
Yeah, he talks about that a lot, doesn't he, Mr. Park?
When you see Mrs. Park slopped on the table, there's a line between the maid and Mrs. Park, and she wakes her up by going inside the line, so she like crosses the line of waking her up and shaking her. They're just little things like that.
Okay.
Entire film I'm going to be like this.
He's such a nerd, isn't he? Can you imagine if we were talking about Scott Pilgrim and I was doing this? I'd be criticised for it.
It's just because he's seen it twice.
Exactly. You pick up a lot of things when you see this film twice. Like a lot. Even the third time, I think I'll pick up a lot more. So he goes to his interview. This Park family, they have the wife, they have the husband, who's this entrepreneur, very wealthy businessman, obviously can afford a lovely house. They have a daughter and 3 dogs, and obviously the maid as well in this house.
And the son, the little kid.
And the son. I forgot the son.
Little Darsong.
Darsong, that's it. Yeah.
Was that what the subtitle said?
Yes, it was. Well done.
He didn't get an English name, did he? He was just...
No.
None of them did.
No.
None of the family did.
Baby Park.
Yeah.
Baby Park.
So Kevin goes for the interview and he gets to meet the daughter. I think her name is Dahai.
Yep.
For the first kind of initial going into like, because she's unsure about this guy because it's got recommended by the old tutor. She's like, can I sit with you when you do the tutoring for the first time? So he sits with her and he grabs her hand. And he kind of does like a romantic thing, but the mum kind of goes, oh, why are you grabbing my daughter's hand? And he's checking her pulse to see if she was nervous when answering a question. And he's saying, don't be nervous, should do a different technique to make him look professional. The thing about it is, as we all kind of know at this point, is that a lot of this is bullshitting. This family is the bullshit family. They are cons. They are not legit people trying to do legit jobs. They are just trying to get their way into doing said job. And he gets the job because the mum is impressed with him. Any comments?
It was a bit weird the way he sort of grabbed her wrist.
Yeah.
At this point, they're trying to look for something to help with the son, and because the son does a lot of these art drawings. And the mum is kind of thinking, oh, I need to see like a therapist about what he's drawing and shit like that. Kevin goes, well, I know an art therapist. Maybe you should give her a call. She's pretty good. And hey presto, the art therapist is actually Kevin's sister in disguise, obviously.
Although I can't believe she listened to him after he said, oh, is that a picture of a chimpanzee? And she's like, no, it's a self-portrait. That was a bit awkward.
Art though, isn't it?
Mum's a little bit delusional though. She's like, she thinks her son is a genius with the drawings and stuff. She's like, these are amazing. Like he draws these amazing...
They're shit.
They are shit. Like that's the thing. She's like,
he can't even colour in the lines. He's crossing the lines. Ooh.
I don't know if you're taking the piss.
No, I'm trying to join in with the nerdery.
Okay.
I'm bullshitting that I know stuff.
Art doesn't have to be within the lines. That's the joy of art. It can be outside the lines. I mean, look at Deschamps. He put a urinal on its side.
All right, now he's being nerdy.
Me, apparently. Cultured, I think you'll find.
All right, Van Gogh, keep going.
In order to help him with his art, the mom, Mrs. Park, decides to interview Jessica, as she calls her, which is Kevin's sister.
He obviously told a story that she was Jessica and she was in Chicago and she was his cousin. She went to school with his cousin.
Yeah.
And so she could remember they sang a little song.
That's right. Yeah.
Can you remember the song?
No, it was in Korean. But it included the facts that she went to Chicago and she went to his cousin's school.
Only child as well.
So she's impressed. I can't remember exactly what she does to impress the mum here, but I think she kind of goes into a lot of detail about like what he's drawing and what it represents and all this thing. But she's always...
The squiggle in the corner.
Yeah, she's like...
Isn't it? She's like, he's a psychopath.
He's a psychopath.
The squiggle's in the corner.
Yeah.
So I need to help him.
She said schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia,
like moments of schizophrenia, not psychopath.
And then she's like, he draws a schizophrenic corner, so he doesn't need art lessons, he needs art therapy. That'll be more money, please. Cha-ching.
Jessica's now getting paid by this family. Now you're slowly starting to understand this point what's going on here. And
you're like, oh, they're the parasite.
Well,
that's literally what my brain did. I'm not taking the piss.
Well,
yeah, well, right now they are.
So at this point, Jessica gets a ride home with the driver that drives Mr. Park all around the place. And he's like this loyal young driver that he always talks about as a great driver and all that kind of stuff. And Jessica decides that she's going to take her underwear off in the car so that maybe someone else could get a job or get fired.
This bit genuinely confused me initially.
She takes her knickers off to get her dad a job.
Literally.
Because I realised what she was doing, but I hadn't worked out how she was going to get him the job. But I was like, oh, she's doing this to...
Yeah.
I wasn't quite there. Where I initially went to was that he was like trying to flirt with her and she was like, no, not interested. And then she took her pants off and I was like, is she suddenly interested? Is this a gift? Oh no, she's trying to get
I think it was a case of she knew this guy was kind of flirty. So she thought by knowing he was kind of flirty, she thought she would play that to her advantage. A lot of this film is just like seeing things and going, oh, maybe if I do this. That's why she did it on the spur of the moment. She was like, oh, this guy seems to be single at least. You know, he might be flirting with other girls that may possibly go in this car. So why not pretend like there was a girl in this car? No. Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
No.
So Mr. Park ends up finding the underwear one day in the car, showing it to his wife and going, the fuck is this?
I like that she took...
It was in the bag.
Put the pants in an envelope and she takes the pants out of the envelope. Then she realises what they are. Then she goes and gets a glove. I don't know if it's the same hand or the other hand. On the other hand,
it's the same hand.
And then she picks up the pants, and then they're talking about it later on, and she goes, and she puts on her face. Panty glove hand in her face. Maybe I've only noticed that because of Corona.
They're obviously disappointed. They feel like this is disrespectful that he was having sex. They're talking about sperm being in the car.
That was so weird.
All this kind of stuff.
Sperm on his seat.
Sperm on the seat. He did mention that he was like, they were getting suspicious and they were like, you know, normally this kind of thing suggests maybe drugs or meth or something. And they're like, oh my God.
I could see how...
There's no earring.
Yeah, you could lose an earring having sex in the car, but like who would leave without their knickers? So she must have been...
Exactly.
Well, first when they were like, oh, I don't know about the condition she was in. I was like, do they think he murdered her? Like, because she was passed out.
I thought that. Did they think she was drunk and he was...
But
yeah.
Apparently that's not what they thought and I just went too far.
So Jessica... knowing that our plan has worked because she's listened to them talk in the house and she's kind of hid behind a corner, she suggests to Mrs. Park that she has a other driver that she used to call Uncle, and this is really her father, of course.
I felt a bit bad for them. I'm like, they're poor, they need some money, they're trying, and then when I'm like, now you're making other people lose their jobs. I don't feel bad for you anymore. So
Mr. Kim is now ends up being the driver for Mr. Park, and I like the coffee in the car test, which is a great test to see if someone is a smooth driver.
Yeah, really good test.
Really, it's like oddly satisfying to watch it. I don't know why.
I realise what he's doing. I see now. I was reading. I was reading. What? I was too busy enthralled with the subtitles. I missed the whole. I was like, why is he just holding that coffee cup there? But I get it now.
Oh, right, okay.
The coffee cup was there when there was no dialogue and no text.
Anyway,
you were just bored of reading a book.
So obviously he kind of talks with Mr. Kim. He's like, oh, I've been doing this for 30 years and I've been on the road. I know these roads like the back of my hand, blah, 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 bullshit. You know, this family is prime bullshit. We're getting to it. But obviously the mum is left. She's got nothing to do. There's only one job left, but it is the hardest job. The housekeeper who has been there before even the Parks have been there. It was a previous housekeeper from the previous owner, and they decided to take her on as she knew the house very well.
So
she knew everything about it.
We later find out she must have She's been there more than 4 years.
She was there when it was the original owners
Yeah.
moved in from France.
The original owner was an architect, so they actually built the lovely looking house and stuff like that.
It is a fucking lovely house.
My next note is just like, oh, now we're poisoning the housekeeper. Fine.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
I know Dan's getting to it, but like, you know, they're
Hold
like,
your horses. Hold your horses.
fuck you guys. Go.
The housekeeper's previous work there, as I said, before the Park family lived there. In order to get her fired, the Kims find out that she has a bit of an allergy to peaches, of all things, and they are not allowed.
Spoilers, they poison her.
Oh, Penny, I can't believe you spoiled it.
So they come up with a plan to try get her to have an allergic reaction to the peaches while...
It's quite a good plan.
Yeah.
Can you imagine shaving a peach?
No.
Fuck's sake.
Fucking weird.
Spoilers, Andy.
All right, guys, come on, stop. Right, so they do a thing at home as well, which I kind of found funny. They're practicing their lines at home, how they're going to like talk to the Parks and stuff, and they're going to be like, no, you got to be more dramatic. No, you got to be like this. The thing is, it's a dark comedy, but the comedy is like really reserved for the first hour of this film, and that's where like all the kind of funny bits come in, and then the dark side is kind of towards the end and stuff. But there's a lot of funny bits like that where they're just practicing the lines at home. Yeah, so they come up with this plan where Mrs. Parks, who's getting driven by Mr. Kim back home, they're going to time it so when she walks in the door, Jessica like throws Peach's skins on the maid or the housekeeper.
The fuzz.
Peach fuzz.
Peach fuzz, that's it.
In it, I guess. Yeah, so nobody... Because you can't like just chuck a peach at her, can you?
That would be amazing.
Chuck a peach at her.
And you probably couldn't like hide it in her food easily. I just thought it was really clever that they like
sprinkle the peach fuzz.
shaved a bit and then sprinkle it on her. Yeah.
So
It's the name of my new band. Sprinkled Peach
The thought of
Fuzz is the
shaving
name
a
of my new
peach to
band.
me is brilliant. I genuinely might try it.
why?
I don't know, it just seems fun. It's up there with waterboarding for me. Yeah.
Andy wants to be waterboarded, yeah. So
Christ, this
who knows?
podcast's taking a turn. So they exploit her kind of allergy and stuff, and to add to this, she obviously comes home and she sees that the maid is coughing and stuff and wondering what's going on. She's coughing into her tissue, and the last kind of touching piece of this is that Mr. Kim...
Yeah, they're not fucking around.
No, Mr. Kim is going to go over to the bin and like pull out this tissue, but he's going to use some bit of hot sauce before he actually pulls it out so she can see blood on top of it, so it makes her even more... Holy shit, we got to get rid of her.
Well, they've told Mrs. Kim that she's got active TB.
TB, yeah.
Tuberculosis.
It was very involved, wasn't it? They had to give her a reaction with the peach fuzz. Then Mr. Kim had to follow her to the hospital, not be seen by her, take a selfie with her in the background, then tell Mrs. Parks that, oh, look, I was at the hospital and I saw her at the hospital and she was telling someone on the phone she had TB. And then they have to poison her again at the right time to get her to cough up fake hot sauce blood so that she believes she's got TB. I can't work out whether I'm annoyed by that or
It's
impressed.
fucking genius.
They're a smart family.
Yeah, it's genius.
They're a smart con family. They know what they're doing. They're not idiots, but they're just, they're smart. That's the thing. And
I wouldn't even say they're con artists, though. They're just desperate people.
Yeah, but the thing is that the Parks are gullible people as well, especially Mrs. Parks. She's just like... They even say later on in the film, oh, they're so gullible, this family, and stuff like this. They'll believe anything we'll fucking say. So even they're laughing at them, going, ha ha ha, they're stupid. So because of this, there's a bit of a talk between Mr. Kim and Mrs. Parks where he's kind of like, she's really ill, you've got a son here, I really don't think she should be here, let her down gently, blah blah blah, just tell her to leave and stuff like that. And there's another scene again with the table and the line in the middle where she tells her to go, kind of similar scene to the start when she was slumped on the table. But now they got to try get mum to finally be the final missing puzzle in this, everyone getting a job and being part of this rich family working for them and all this kind of stuff. So Mr. Kim has a business card, and I can't remember the name of the business card.
The
Care.
Care.
And he says, oh, this was the people that called me before you got hold of me. They're really good. They have a bunch of like drivers and professional services, and they care for VIPs just like you. Sweet talking him like that. Again, this is another thing that, just a quote that he says, Mr. Parks, during this time. He says, the housekeeper, she was good, but we had to get rid of her. She didn't cross the line. I hate it when people cross the line. So even
also, I felt like everyone was a bit polite because they didn't say to the driver, you had sex with someone in my car, get out. They made up an excuse to let him go, and then they did.
Sorry, I think that's just their culture, though.
Yeah.
They're not particularly confrontational people.
Yeah, which is fair, but they kind of wouldn't have if people weren't so polite and in that culture, because they obviously don't say that to her either. They get like, if they'd have gone to you, well, we heard you've got TB, and she'd be like, I don't have TB. Like, you might have got away with it with the driver. He could, his word against yours, but then she's like, no, actually, I don't have TB. Then it all would have fallen apart. So they're kind of lucky that everyone's too polite. And like, she tells her husband that the housekeeper left, rather than so it's all like people not telling each other and not wanting confrontation and all that sort of
They're
stuff.
playing around with them at this point.
Yeah.
Like, by the time they get to Mr. Kim talking to Mrs. Parks privately, not even telling the husband, now they're just fucking playing around with them at this point. Mrs. Kim, she's given the job, and so the entire family is now hired in this house. Different jobs, different roles, different stuff to do.
Such a lovely house.
I know.
It's a lovely house for the 5th time. It's a lovely house. Obviously, you're starting to get a lot more income. There's a lot of different things here where they were previously drinking like a cheap beer, and now they're drinking Sapporo beer, which is kind of like premium beer.
Sorry, I had a question.
Later on.
Would it really be that weird if they all were from the same family anyway? Like, Ginny's a teacher. She does tutoring. If you needed a tutor, I'd recommend her. Like, did they need to lie quite as much?
I think it's less... It would be very difficult to convince them that every single member of that family had that specific job in that family.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So and they would have even more power over that family.
As well,
than they do already.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So they start getting income. They can have pizza. They're still living at the crappy place at the moment. So at this point, around about this film, the Park family is deciding that they're going to go on a camping trip for Disong's birthday weekend. So
because they always go out for his birthday, because he has the worst birthday. When they're at home.
So they take the opportunity to have the house vacated. The only person that the Parks know that's in it is the housemaid, aka Mrs. Kim. So she's like getting things about how to feed the dogs and all the stuff you need to do, and like make sure you do this, blah 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 blah. And
she's a dick to one of the dogs, so she gets everything she deserves.
Yeah, it was the nice beagle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
Berry the beagle.
I did like Foo-Foo, though. Little white fluffy one.
The Pomeranian.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the other one was. Neither breed nor name.
Nope. Obviously was the worst of the three dogs.
Yeah, it's not my kind of dog. I only remember Foo-Foo because it annoyed me.
Oh, it was so fluffy.
I missed an important bit. So, sorry, before this, there's a bit where the son, he smells Mr. Kim.
Oh, yeah.
And he then smells Mrs. Kim, aka the housemaid, and he goes, they smell the same.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you talking about?
Jessica smells like that too.
Jessica smells like it too. And there's this bit of weird like, that was strange. So they decide they're going to have to use different soap so that they don't get caught, which I thought was hilarious.
Doesn't Kevin isn't he like, we smell like our shitty house?
Well, we'll come to that later for metaphors.
Oh.
Ooh, metaphors. But they do decide like they're going to have to change it up a bit. They're going to have to have different washing up and stuff.
And she's like, ugh, now I have to do 4 different loads of washing.
4 different loads of washing up. So they go on this camping trip, the Parks, and they leave it with Mrs. Kim, the housemaid, and they just invite the whole family and they live in that house, and they have the scene which I would say like the most significant in the whole film, because this is the point where everything kind of changes, is when they are sitting in the living room looking out at the rain or the thunder coming. So let's break this down. Hang on a sec. They act rich.
Yeah.
But they get so drunk and they eat so... Like, they don't even eat, like, luxury food. They eat, like, cheap food. It looks like sweets almost, but they get so fucking drunk and stuff like that.
Jessica eats dog treats because she has fancy dog treats.
But
But also, I was a bit like, wouldn't they notice you drinking all that booze?
Yeah.
Like, if you were smart about it, I mean, they're not smart about anything, but they were drinking so much booze.
They had a storage down in the basement. I don't think they even know how much food. They're so gullible, they don't even know what they have at times. That's the thing. At this point, Kevin says that he's in love with the daughter.
The child.
And he said when she goes to uni, I'm going to ask her out.
Bros before hoes. What a douchebag.
That's weird.
It's kind of like an arranged marriage, I think what it is. It's like not like an arranged marriage, but arranged dates.
Well, that's what his friend wanted to ask her out. He was basically like, when she's old enough.
This is the thing. We'll go back to the rock.
The magic rock.
The magic stone represents that university student. That's his kind of like, this is part of him.
It's grounding. That's what it is.
He's leaving the responsibility to Kevin, aka giving him the stone, of being the tutor. Now he's starting to become like that guy now.
Okay.
I'm going to ask ask her out when she's saying the same thing he said as well. So this would make them make the whole family in-laws and blah, blah, blah. And they're like...
I was like, that is never going to work.
Yeah, that won't work.
And he's like, well, hire actors to be my mum and dad. I'm like, this is too much effort. Like, just stop.
Yeah, if I had money, I would be nice too. Pushes the dog out of the way, the mum.
Oh, poor Berry.
So they spend an evening drinking and eating and making a mess of the place, and the lightning hits, and as soon as the lightning hits, that's when this movie takes a deep, dark turn.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. We get kind of a little bit of a scene where it's kind of important. I'll quickly jump over it, but where Mrs. Kim says to Mr. Kim about cockroaches and how when
he doesn't like that, does he?
When the light is shining on them, they scatter away, and then he gets, I'm really getting tired of this shit, and grabs her.
She calls him a cockroach, doesn't she?
Think about
yeah.
Scattering away, like, come on. And he's kind of like, yeah, I'm just joking. Whatever, you thought this was real.
He looks like he's about to deck her.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, I'm joking.
And then the doorbell rings. Ding dong. And they all get a bit cockroachy. So at the door is the old housekeeper, and she looks fucking drenched and miserable, and it looked like she'd been punched in the face.
We don't ever find out why, do we?
I thought she was wearing a mask.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of visual, I guess, just to make her look scary when she's like staring in the camera.
Because eventually someone's like, what happened to your face? And she's like, I'll tell you later.
I think that's addressed, though. I think we work out why that is. I don't think she had any bruising when she first turned up.
Okay.
Maybe self-harm.
On her face?
She loved that family. I thought it was self-harm, but she was like so upset that she got... Oh no, it's the allergy, isn't it?
Oh yeah, she's all puffy.
It's the
from
allergy.
The yeah,
of course it is.
I didn't think of that.
But there's no markings, it's just her face.
It's just puffy, yeah. She gets to the door and she's kind of like, I need to go into the basement. There's something I need to get. And she's kind of staring.
She's not lying.
She's talking to the new housekeeper now, the one that replaced her. And Mrs. Kim's kind of like trying to get her family away from the door. She's like, oh shit, the housekeeper's here. And she lets her in. And she's like, okay, just get what you need to get and leave. And I always love, again, I'm going to be nerdy, the dark door of the basement in the kitchen is always in the background. It's never really like talked about, or no one goes in there.
Because it also doesn't really look like a door. It looks like a hole.
It's just a stairway.
Yeah.
It's so pitch black that it just adds to that kind of like what's in the basement kind of thing.
Because didn't the housekeeper, wasn't she like, don't you want to come with me?
Yes.
Which now I know what's in the basement. That's kind of weird.
Also, I think thematically, every time you see that basement sort of archway down the stairs, up until that point, it's backlit.
That too.
There's lights on. At this point, there is no light.
Because also, I don't think we found this out yet about the kid's birthday.
No, not yet.
So they don't.
That's later when they
decide
they're going to have a birthday party.
Yeah, on fire.
So Miss Kim lets the old housekeeper in. She goes downstairs. She waits for her. The family are like, why's she taking so long? They said, Mom, go down, check it out, what's happening. The housekeeper is trying to push a bookshelf, or it's a shelf, I'm not sure the bookshelf, but she's trying to, like, our legs are on one side of the wall. It's kind of funny. I did laugh at this. She's trying to push it.
She's Tom Cruise in it.
And she's like, can you give me a hand? So Mrs. Kim kind of helps her out, and she realizes there's something stuck underneath. She pulls it out, and bang! Housekeeper goes flying on the ground. She gets walloped.
That's when she fucks up her face.
Well, even more, yeah.
Okay.
And then there's this door that's behind this shelf, and the housekeeper goes in this real dramatic scene where Mrs. Kim is following her.
There's so many corridors.
It's so great. I love it. So mazy. Like, they go into this basement, and we find...
Secret guy in the basement!
There's a guy in the basement, guys. What a twist. There's a guy living in the basement.
Secret guy.
Secret guy. It turns out to be...
That was just my note. Secret guy in the basement.
Turns out that this guy is the husband of the housekeeper, and he's been here for 4 years underground while...
Like, was it like 4 years, 13 days and...
Yeah, I think it was whenever they moved in.
Yeah, it was. She moved him in between the parks moving in.
So
which is pretty fucking crazy.
She's been feeding him and keeping him kind of safe while he's been underneath while the parks have been there.
Oh yeah, because no one's been feeding them, have they? Did she say how long she's been away?
A week.
He's eating a banana at this point, so
the way he eats that banana is one of the creepiest things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's fucking horrible.
He's obviously got, he's mentally, like, something wrong with him as well.
He's been locked in a basement for 4 years.
Yeah, I know. But
it's like solitary confinement, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. And we learn a couple of things, but before we get to that, the rest of the family all try to
slip down the stairs.
They sneak downstairs and then accidentally fall.
Somebody they're standing there for ages, and then somebody just manages to slip randomly.
And then
they just like tumble down.
They tumble down, and then the housekeeper goes, "What the fuck is this? Oh, wait a minute. I recognize you. You're the driver. You're Jessica." And then one of them says, "Mom, wait a minute. Mom? What's she? Oh my God."
And she gets her phone out, doesn't she?
Gets her phone out and goes, "Stand back, bitches," or something like that. "Get the fuck away, bitches."
When they're rolling around on the floor, Kevin's like, "Dad," and he's like, "Don't call me Dad." And then she's filmed it, and it's like, shit, now she's got
I love that bit as well, where he kind of goes, "There's surely no phone signal in the basement." It's like, "No, I can get phone signal." It's just like in the old house when there's like stuck on the ground.
Yep.
So she has now got them at ransom with a video clip. So she's like holding the phone like a gun to them, and she's like, "Stand back, I'll send it."
They've got their hands up.
I'll press it.
Got their hands up as well. Yep.
Because she's like calling them scumbags and stuff. I'm like, she's just
it's
as
power.
bad.
It's the power of the rich. Like, I'm in control now. As soon as she knows she's in control, she turns it like they would when Parks left. They got drunk,
but
and
it's also
started being
desperation as well.
Drunk and disorderly.
They are both desperate people.
Yeah, she wants her job
I've
back.
got a note that says, "I can't get over how nice the house is."
For fuck's sake. She even says, the old housekeeper's like, "You're just like me." And then Mrs. Kim goes, "I'm not like you."
She is.
Like, you are.
Well, when they do that thing at the beginning, the housekeeper calls her sis.
Sis.
And she's like, "Don't call me sis." And then when she's got the phone, she's like, "Oh, sis." She's like, "Don't call me sis, you fucking bitch." Like, it all swaps over.
So they have the family held with their hands up in the living room. The housekeeper gives a North Korean speech like a newscaster. At this point, the family rush him in the most Englishy way. They rush him.
Bum rush the sofa.
This is possibly my favourite bit of the film, is in this attack.
Rest of the Kim family just absolutely, they run at them. Jessica, I think, goes to grab a peach, and she just shoves
I was like, why is
the
she
peach.
going to the fridge? And she grabs a bag of peaches and just starts rubbing them all over.
It's so good.
I laugh so much.
Were you not there ahead of time?
No, I wasn't.
The second she went towards the fridge, I was like, peaches.
No, I had no idea. And then I've just written, haha, attacks her with peaches.
So the Kim family managed to get the upper hand on them, and they end up taking them to the secret bunker, but the phone rings at this point. Now, during this time, the thunder has developed into heavy rain. It's fucking pissing down. And of course, you can't really camp in the rain, so this phone call is going to be a bit awkward when she picks it up, and Mrs. Kim goes, "Hi," and Mrs. Park goes, "Can you get some ramen going, or boil of water? It should be done by the time we get there." And they're like, "What about the camping?" "Oh, the weather is terrible. We're going to have to come back. We should be there in a few minutes."
No gazebos.
No gazebos.
That's a reference no one will get.
No.
So the camping trip is cancelled due to the rain, and they'll be home in 8 minutes. So everyone scrambles.
This is great, because this is me tidying up when my parents go away for the weekend.
That's immediately what I thought.
I'll just be like,
"Oh,
when you guys leaving? When are you coming home?" And then I'm like, right, quick, tidy.
Yeah.
So they try to clean up mess as much as possible. There's also a diary that Kevin took out from the daughter, so he could read it to everyone and be the dick about it.
So we could get to know each other better.
Get to know each other.
No.
They keep the other two in the basement, and they manage to do a good enough job, but the rest of the family has to hide at this point, because by the time they get everything ready, they're pretty much in different locations. I think Jessica's underneath the table at this point.
It's a really lovely table.
Jessica and Mr. Kim are under the table.
Yes.
And Kevin's under
bed.
Mr. Kim is actually in the basement.
And then Mrs. Kim is cooking in the kitchen. Oh, yeah, and then he comes back up and hides under the table.
So Mr. Kim is trying to move the body of the housekeeper, and he accidentally lets go of her at the top of the stairs into the basement, and boom, hits her head.
No.
Yeah, it does.
No, that's not what happens. Because she's like passed out and he leaves, but she starts coming up the stairs and
into the kitchen.
And Mrs. Kim, as she walks past the basement, she sees her and she kicks her down the stairs.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
So Mrs. Park doesn't see her. She's literally just walking past and just brutally just kicks her, and she falls down the stairs, and then she hits her head at the bottom.
The thuds she makes is dense.
Like, she doesn't even flinch. She's just like, pff.
Nice.
She's kicked down the stairs.
It was quite impressive, though.
Yeah.
So she's severely wounded. I think at this point the husband is kind of tied up to one of the bars in the basement as well, so he can't get out, and he's got a gag on him as well. So the housekeeper and the husband are locked in the bunker, and at this point Kevin is trying to, well, at one point the dog gets underneath the bed, and the dogs
always know what's up.
Dog sees Kevin.
Foo-foo.
He manages to escape, but when he gets down to the living room, he realizes he has to go underneath the table, and look, it's his sister and his dad underneath the table there as well.
It's a really nice table.
It is.
I've put, haha, they're stuck under the table. I hope no one has to pee.
No, something worse is going to happen, but during this time, though, very importantly, the ramen gets made and the wife, Mrs. Parks, decides to eat it, and she describes a ghost story that happened to her child, her son. And this is fucking terrifying, this bit. Like, it scared the living bejeebus out of me. One night when the son was young, on his birthday, he went to go to get some cake that was left in the fridge in the middle of the night. And
we've all been there.
When he was eating the cake, he looked where the basement door is, and he saw a ghost, and now we know what that ghost was. It was
creepy basement man,
Mr. Husband Eating Banana Man, as we call him.
Banana Man.
Banana Man.
Well, because he like appears like over the
yeah.
But also we find out about his weird Morse code.
Yeah.
He has been unknowing to Mr. Kim or any of the family.
Anyone.
Been turning on the lights as he comes in through the house, which I felt fucking brilliant.
Yeah, he's like the motion sensor.
Motion sensor.
I couldn't quite work out how he knew where Mr. Park was.
You could hear it, yeah.
Boom, boom,
just hear
boom.
it, and then he's just
developed over the years to sense of hearing.
He's got like a little Mr. Park shrine, doesn't he? He loves him.
He loves him. He gives us food.
Mr. Park, respect.
He gives us food,
Respect.
electricity. He is my keeper. All this kind of stuff. And Mr. Kim is looking at it thinking, that's fucking weird, mate. At this point. He sends a Morse code to thank him for food in the house and all that kind of stuff. But Mr. Park obviously doesn't notice that someone below him is working hard and he's just walking on by making the money. Metaphors. So we get the ghost story, and then the son decides he's going to go camping in the backyard with his tent, and the
that thing would have been soaked.
It would have been, but it's from the USA. Don't worry, it's luxury.
Yeah, that was weird. She liked to point out about, because she pointed out that she got the Indian arrows from the USA as well, didn't she?
That's how they sold all of the family members, is by referencing
the
US.
Because she was like, oh, if it's from the US, it must be good.
Yeah.
It's also important in the ending scene, if you remember the child's birthday, because there's a certain degree of cowboys and Indians.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. and Mrs. Park decide to sit on the sofa, and obviously underneath the table is Mr. Kim, Jessica, and Kevin. They're still stuck under there. At this point, Kevin is still texting the daughter. She's like right next to him, but he's like, I'm sure it'll be fine, go away.
She's like, I wish you were here, and he's like, I'm with you,
really.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it gets a bit weird.
And then it gets weirder.
So the son goes out to the tent, and he's now going to have a little camp by himself in the tent out the back in the garden. So the parents decide to stay on the sofa, and in comes the tit rub scene.
It's so weird. It's such a weird... He's not even groping her boob. He's literally rubbing her
it gets
nipple.
Weirder.
And then she's
clockwise.
Like, go clockwise.
Yeah, it gets weirder. So before that, they mentioned smell again. So
oh yeah, he smells like an old radish.
They kind of sit on the couch and they go, do you smell that? What? I don't smell a thing.
I thought someone farted. I'm not gonna lie.
That would have been amazing.
I was like, oh my god, one of them has farted and now they can smell it.
If he went, do you smell that? And she went, nope. And he said, you will. It would have been gold.
Give it a sec. And he starts doing this. Starts waving it into
cupping air into her face.
I just forgot about how Mr. Kim smells. I didn't realise he smelled that strongly. I just thought because like the kid...
Metaphors.
Yeah.
So they're sitting on the couch and he's describing the smell as, it smells like Mr. Kim's smell. You know when you boil a rag, that kind of smell.
No.
He then talks about, he seems like he's always about to cross the line, but he doesn't either. But that smell crosses the line. You smell it on the subway, and then she goes, I was taking a subway in ages. Which, yeah. So the nipple rub clockwise scene happens, and a bit of funny time with fingers and stuff.
Awkward.
They get off to pour things like, buy me drugs.
Oh, because he's like, have you still got the panties that we found in the driver's car? Because if you wore those, that would make me really hard. So then she's like, well, buy me drugs. I'm like, is this a weird...
Buy me drugs.
Poverty fetish thing.
Like, instead of being like, call me a whore, like, buy me drugs.
Yeah.
It's so good, though.
Call me a peasant.
So that's all happening while the other 3 guys are underneath the table, and they're just kind of sat there, and they're there for...
Imagine if one of them got a boner. That would be even more awkward.
I didn't check.
I didn't think about it, but it's nice that you're here to lower the tone.
Always.
So, in the dead of night, everyone's asleep, and they're going to sneak out, everyone underneath the table. They're going to get out here. Kevin and Jessica manage to get down the stairs that's near the living room. Mr. Kim, unfortunately, gets about halfway, and he has to stop because the walkie-talkie of the child for Mr. Park is going off, and then Mr. Park wakes up, and Mr. Kim is lying straight flat on the floor. And if he looks to his left, he will see a man just lying on the floor in his bare feet.
How did they not notice him? I don't understand.
It's lucky.
It was dark, and the kid's going emergency, so...
Yeah, but he's also got a torch shining through the window. You would see someone's bare feet. I mean, I know it's an amazing house and table, however...
It's out of his peripheral vision.
Still fucking notice.
I don't know, but he managed to get away with it, and then they all escape. Obviously, the housekeeper stays because she's obviously needs to stay, and everyone else goes. They go down into the slums, down deeper, down, going
and it
down.
is raining.
It's raining men.
Hallelujah.
They escape, go down to the slums of home. This is where Mr. Kim says, I have a plan. Don't worry, I've got a plan. We'll sort this out. Let's just go home, sort this out. They get home, everything is fucking drenched. There's a flood, sewage water. The toilet is going off like fucking crazy. There's a great bit where the housekeeper is waking up and she pukes into the toilet in the basement underneath the Parks, and then the next shot is a shit coming out of the toilet in the Kim's house. And this is where Kevin finds the stone, which is
Stop carrying the rock around, for fuck's sake.
Well, he wasn't. That was the thing. When he didn't carry around, look what happened. It all went to shit, right? So this is, again, it's just like symbolizing
I guess.
his kind of trying to become successful, and now it's just him picking it up going, oh fuck, what's happened now?
Because it got so bad, that flood, they could have drowned in there. There was not a lot of room left.
It was up to their shoulders.
Yeah, and I was just like, leave the fucking rock behind. I was just like, your house is flooding. Leave the... I know it's metaphorical, but leave the fucking...
You don't like metaphors, do you?
She only likes gore, doesn't like style, only likes blood.
And magic rocks.
Doesn't like good writing. So, as well as this, the guy underneath the banana man, I don't know what we call him, but the husband that's downstairs,
basement
man, sees that his wife is now like head blood coming out. She's like, I'm really dizzy.
Oh, because she helps him escape. She rips the gaffer tape with her teeth, but she is not well.
Yeah, concussed.
So he decides to move over to the light switch with his kind of hand still tied and just bash his fucking head against the light switch to use Morse code, which the child sees out of his tents. And the Morse code, we just see him writing it down because he used to be in the Scouts. See it writing down H and then LP. So we're thinking help me.
It's HOLP.
Is it HO?
I thought it said help.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I think he got one wrong.
Oh, bless him.
Help me.
Help me.
But you get the gist, so he's fine.
Desperately bashing his head against the light switch trying to say, help me. The rest of the Kim family are now in a shelter with a bunch of other people. They're sat with everyone who's kind of in their, I guess, demographic of their poverty line and stuff. But this is where Mr. Kim is kind of, I give up, I've done.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have a plan.
He says to Kevin, you know what kind of plan never fails? No plan. If you don't make a plan, life works out better. If anything goes wrong, it's not your fault.
Genuinely sage advice. I never plan for anything.
But that was his downfall, is he said he had a plan, but he didn't really have one. He was just going along with it.
But the plans they had didn't work anyway, so...
That is true.
Don't make a plan. You can't be disappointed when it doesn't work.
Yes.
It's a cynical outlook, but it works.
Kevin is holding the stone and he's hugging it, and his father is saying, why are you holding the stone? And he's like, I feel like it's clinging to me. I feel like it doesn't want to let me go, which is kind of like he wants to have that dream of being successful. Like that's his like symbolism of being like the top of the food chain, being rich and successful and all that kind of stuff. He wants to have that dream more than his father does because his father's just given up on everything. So there's like a birthday party celebration now for the kid and they all have to go back to jobs. Mr. Kim at this point is just fucking pissed off that he has to work for these people.
He's such a grumpy boss.
He's fucking pissed. He does not want to be there. I don't think, I mean, he's the most pissed, but like even the housemaid is a bit like, oh great, you want me to plan a birthday party, get the fucking tables out, great, all right, fine.
Yeah.
It's understandable though. I mean, he has to, Mrs. Parks takes him shopping.
Yeah.
And whilst he's driving, she's saying, oh, you know, the weather was shit, but it's dry now, and the rain has made the grass look really good. And
which is ironic because it made it really bad for them.
yeah,
And really good,
Really
for,
good
them.
for them.
lemons from lemonade. I think that is what triggers him to be upset about
Sun
it.
is shining.
And she's talking to all her fancy friends. She's like, no presents, just come and have hors d'oeuvres.
The easy life.
Yeah.
She has the easy life. He's just gone through shit,
Yeah.
and he's just like we all would, I guess. But yeah. So she also does the smell thing
Yeah.
in the car. She's like, open the window. I smell Mr. Kim.
But then this time I was like, well, he smells like other people's clothes that he got from the gym. So I was
I
hardly
don't think
surprised.
that's the point they're getting at with this metaphor, Ben.
I know that, but I was like, oh, at least,
Poor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got that
He
one.
smells like people in the subway.
I know I got that one, but I was like, at least this time he's got a reason to be smelly.
So they dress up. They dress up Mr. Kim and Mr. Park in kind of
Native American.
Native Americans. So they're going to throw like a celebration where they're going to have like an axe where these two are going to come out like with bow and arrows and stuff, and they're going to save Jessica who has the cake and blah, 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 blah. Mr. Park is saying to Mr. Kim, don't worry, you're going to get paid extra for this. Think of this as part of your job.
Yeah, he's like, fucking smile.
Smile.
That's how I took it. He's like, I'm paying you fucking extra. This is part of your job.
It's not really though, is
No.
it? It's not part of a job.
It is if you're getting paid overtime.
He's a driver. He shouldn't have to be fucking packing bags and then dressing up as a
I
twat
own you now.
to be a fucking Native American for some prick kids because that's what they think he deserves. I'm fucking with him.
Kevin goes to the basement with the stone. He asks the daughter that, am I like these people? Do you think I'll fit in here? And she's like,
No,
yeah. She nods yes.
he's not, is he?
So he goes, he needs to do something. So he takes the stone to the basement and he drops the stone. Everyone's dropping fucking slipping
I
on
don't know
these
why he
stairs.
had to take it to the
He's
basement.
such a twat, isn't he?
Why?
So he could
What do you mean? You know exactly why he's taking it to the basement.
deal the damage,
Yeah.
get rid of the problem.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. I just...
Pen, was this film too like theoretical for you?
I liked it. I just had a problem with him carrying a fucking giant metaphorical magic
No, it was a
rock around.
real stone.
Don't think of it as a metaphor.
I
all the
can't
time.
believe you can believe like a fucking cube that gives you powers in a Neil Breen film, but this is bullshit.
I didn't
That
say it
is
was
ridiculous.
bullshit. I got the metaphor. I just picked holes in it.
So he's taking the stone to the basement. It gets caught by the maid's husband, Kevin, and Kevin gets fucked up with the stone straight to the
Yeah.
head as he tries to escape from the basement, realizing that Mr. Basement Man is free. Uh-oh.
I just wrote, oh, this isn't going to end well.
No, this is not going to end well. Mr. Basement Man is free. He's now roaming around the house, and the birthday party.
He's fucking nuts,
Yeah,
isn't he?
he's got blood on his face. Big disgrace.
His wife's dead.
His wife's dead. He's fucking angry. He runs into this birthday party while all the cake comes out with Jessica and everyone's clapping and stuff, and he fucking stabs Jessica straight in the chest.
But she pies him. She hits him in the face with a cake.
Oh, did she?
yeah, she does fine. Get your own back.
Dave Benson Phillips be proud.
That's a
This
deep
kid's never going to want to have a birthday ever again.
Jessica gets stabbed. Now the mum is being attacked. She's trying to save Jessica. Oh fuck, everyone's screaming at this point. The important thing is that all the rich people are trying to get out of there and leave the poor people, technically.
Yeah. And then he's shouting for Chung Suk, isn't he? He's shouting for
Yeah.
the mum.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
who he's after.
So Mr. Park as well at this point is like, the keys. Give me the keys to Mr.
Yeah,
Kim.
because I guess it's not drive me away, is it? It's like, give me the keys so I
I'm
can
getting
get
out
away.
of here. Yeah.
The reason they want the keys is because after Jessica collapses after she's been stabbed, the kid sees the ghost and collapses and has a fit.
Yeah.
Oh, he has a seizure,
well.
and they're like, we need
As
to get him to the
happens
hospital.
earlier
yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also they didn't give a shit because every rich person ran out of there.
yeah, nobody helped.
Yeah, nobody helped them. Mr. Kim throws the keys, doesn't go far, lands near the basement guy. He goes to pick up the keys and he does the smell. Oh, something smells, and Kim sees this and goes, "You fucker, that's what you think of me. You fucking," stabs. So Mr. Kim stabs Mr. Park in the chest, and Mr. Kim has gone into a bit of a trance, and he's like, uh-oh, what have I done? And he runs away.
Like a cockroach.
In the light.
So this is the ending. Mr. Kim is nowhere. No one knows where he is. He left that party. No one saw any, no witnesses, no nothing. At the same time, Kevin wakes up in a hospital where he's been in a coma for weeks.
He was lucky. I thought he was
That was
smushed.
fucked, yeah.
Yeah. He got hit twice.
Twice, because
Yeah.
he throws the rock at him, doesn't he, when he's running out?
And then he
later
just
on, he just
drops it.
fucking drops it.
Yeah. He finds out that his sister has died, and that's he and Mrs. Kim are sentenced to probation.
Because it was just forgery, trespassing.
But they didn't do any murder
Yeah.
because obviously Mr. Kim's
Yeah.
that. So there's no sign of Mr. Kim, even though the police have been searching for him. The house gets sold because who wants to live in a house where someone got murdered?
Andy.
Trent Reznor.
At this point, Kevin, he leaves a rock in the river.
Yep, he's like, I'm done with you.
And he observes the house from a distance just to see if anything's going on or if maybe some of the lights are flickering. He gets there with binoculars and sees that the lights are flashing. Oh no, who's in the house?
Because Kevin was also a Cub Scout.
He now works out the Morse code for it.
It says, help me.
Hope it's fuck's sake. So yeah, son keeps going back to the house for the Morse code, check on dad. We find out that Kim didn't run away. He in fact went to the one place they wouldn't look for underneath the fucking house.
Because no one else knows that the basement is there.
Exactly. They start writing letters to one another.
Do we notice what he's eating while he's hanging out in the basement?
Tuna out of a can.
Tuna in a can!
Fuck's sake.
How does he get the letter back to Mr. Kim?
I would assume that when no one's in the house, he would put it into a mailbox or something that's outside the house. That gets collected or something. I don't know.
How did he get the letter to Kevin? Was it all in Morse code? Because it was
All in
long.
Morse code. It was a fucking long man.
Yeah, it was really long. Could have done with like, I'm okay, I'm alive, I'm here, laters.
Yeah, so Mr. Kim is controlling the lights from inside the bunker. He's now become the basement man, where he's now living, sneaking food upstairs from the new owners. The son, Kevin, still living in the slums, writes a letter and says, Dad, today I made a plan, a fundamental plan. This is when he leaves the stone in the water. When I have the money, I'll buy the house. The sun will be shining with me and Mom in the back. All you have to do is walk up those stairs and come out. And we see a shot of Mr. Kim coming out of the basement. We don't know how long. It looks like it's maybe a couple of years later. He goes out to the back of the yard, sees his son, and they have a hug and a quiet moment. We think that's the ending. But until then, he says, there's a shot of him in the slum still. Until then, take care. I'll see you then. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Parasite. Penny, what do you think of the film?
Yeah, I liked it. Even though I didn't like the stupid rock and its stupid metaphor, I really liked it.
Jesus Christ.
What?
Do you not like
Sometimes he really stressed me out.
I liked it. What do you want?
do you not like metaphors?
Do you just want things to tell you the story instead of having to think about it?
That's my immediate thought.
So I took the rock a little less metaphorically, all right? Sorry.
It's fine.
I'm used to having serial killers spoon-fed to me on a plate. I can't. It's hard to switch.
What do you think of the film?
Yeah, I liked it. That's what we're getting now. Fuck you guys.
You liked it?
I did like it. Yeah, I really liked it. I was waiting for a twist. The twist was not... I don't know what I thought it was. I was like... Because it was so long, I was like, okay, so they're in now. That what's the twist?
Yeah. What's going to happen next?
And it wasn't what I... Yeah, it wasn't what I expected, but I don't know specifically what I expected. So that was good. I liked it.
Score?
Oh, the only other thing I did have to stop partway through because I had to eat, but it was one of those 2-hour films that felt like 2 hours. I'm not saying it needed to be shorter, but there was a bit where I'm like, oh, it could have been a bit snappier. But you know, sometimes you'll watch a film and you're like, it'll feel really long and it isn't, or the other way around. Could have done, what was it, 2 hours?
2 hours 15.
2:10?
2 hours exactly. Yeah, 2:50.
So I was like, I could have done with a little bit less, I guess. But yeah, 8 out of 10. Did enjoy.
Better score than Drive. Way. Andy, what do you think of the film?
This probably won't surprise you. I really enjoyed it.
I thought you would.
It was clever. It was really well written. It looked incredible. It looked as about incredible as that house.
We stopped talking about the fucking house, man. That's all you've talked about for the last fucking hour.
I liked the metaphors because I'm not a fucking Philistine, and it was really good. Really enjoyed it. I also thought it felt shorter than 2 hours.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I don't know if that's because I had to stop. I did like an hour and then I did the rest of it.
Well, I
but
also did the same.
Oh.
But I really enjoyed it. Even though I split it into 2 parts, it felt quick. Yeah, really good. I'm going to give it a 9.
Ooh.
Oh, it gets a 9. It's a new high score, guys.
Almost certainly.
I fucking love this film. This is honestly I think it's probably my favorite like foreign film of all time. I've seen a lot of foreign films from Japan and
It's
stuff.
not Battle Royale, so I can't agree with you on that.
It's better than The Raid though, so it's going above mine.
Okay, I mean they're the worst comparisons ever, but like, Jesus, don't worry, guys. I watch real movies. So
They are real movies.
yeah, The Raid. You can't compare The fucking Raid to this film. So
I agree with you. I'm just saying, with my limited knowledge of foreign films, this goes above everything else.
yeah,
Fuck me.
all right.
Anyway, move on.
Jesus. I think Parasite is absolute fucking masterpiece of a film. I think not only does it talk about something that not even like Western films talk about a lot, which is class. I don't think I've ever seen a film that talks about like class. Not only is this genuinely funny in the first half, especially, like it is a really funny fucking film at times, but it's like it's dark comedy. It's not like laugh out loud all the time. It's just one of those things like, haha, that's a funny kind of reference. But not only that, it manages to put in comedy, darkness, a fucking twist at the end, and then another kind of twist at the end of that, and then coupled together this weird story of this family trying to come in. And I think the fucking acting is great. I think the fucking everything about it, like I can't pick one thing. I love the story. I think it's fantastically written. I don't find any problems with the story at all. And I know it's very metaphorical at times, and that's a thing in this film because, I mean, it's trying to talk about a lot of different fucking issues at the same time. So, you know, I think the director is very heavy into like environment change and all that kind of stuff and all sorts. But
It was pretty.
Yeah, I think the visuals,
so good.
without even talking about the house, just the way that they played against each other was really
It's
interesting.
because the fact you go from like such a bright fucking house of the
That's with the big.
Yeah.
It's not even a window, is it? It's like a wall of glass, and then they've got these tiny little windows that see onto street level.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean you've got the entirely open plan house with the big garden, and then you've got the cramped tiny little basement flat that they're in, and the banana men are in as well.
I love a lot of things about this film, and I can't really fault it, and I can't give it a less score than this, so I'm going to give it a 10.
Ooh.
It's just too good.
I can absolutely understand why it got the plaudits it did. I was kind of skeptical about it because it was just scooping everything
So
up, and for some reason I assumed it was a horror beforehand. Not quite sure why, but
Poster.
I don't know. Like,
it has got a bit of a horror poster. Yeah,
I knew there was going to be a
Yeah.
twist, so I was expecting it maybe to be a horror twist, but that's my brain, so I assumed that's why I thought there would be one.
but some of the subjects it touches on, it does in like a delicate way, but with enough heft and weight to give importance to it.
And I would generally say this is a great film to watch a second time around.
Yeah, I would watch it again.
Because I noticed so much in the very first scene. That is Parasite. Is that our new top film?
Yeah.
What did we give your name? I gave it 10. 10?
I gave it an 8.
I think I gave it a 3.
No, you didn't.
You liked it more than that.
I think I gave it an 8.
Yeah.
But this is higher. This is 27.
Hey, let's pull out the film for next week. Let's hope it can live up to this
probably
one.
won't.
Please, please, for the love of God, please. Andy, fuck you. The next time you say, "Oh, I don't pick wrong films and I pick great films."
Animals United.
Next week, we are watching another great choice by Andy, Birdemic.
Sorry, what?
A sexy lingerie model and a successful software salesman go on a weekend getaway to a quaint Northern California town. That is the worst fucking synopsis for this
And
film.
it's called
It's about
Birdemic.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Birdemic?
So like Flandemic, but with birds.
It's considered one of the worst films of all time. Like, it's
Andy!
It's funny,
You
innit?
didn't even watch a film, like an extra film, this
Penny.
week or last week, and now we have to watch your bullshit.
Penny.
Yeah.
I guarantee you'll love it though.
It's a very Penny film. I think you
It
especially will
is-
really enjoy it.
It's like a horror.
Birdemic.
Birdemic
Okay.
is famously, I'm sure some people listening will probably heard of it. It's notorious for being incredibly bad, but also
Are we talking like Sharknadoes on...
With birds, yeah.
it's fucking hilarious. It is hilarious though. The last time I watched it, I laughed my ass off because it is so bad it's good. It's definitely in that category of it's so bad it's good, so don't worry.
The thing is, you both like So Bad It's Good, like Neil Breen, and I fucking hate it, so I'm going to be the one who suffers here.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Consequences of your own
That's
actions.
why I don't plan.
Birdemic Academic Shock and Terror from 2010 is a horror thriller, of course, so we're going to have spooky ghost music next time. It was made on a budget of $10,000. That gives you an idea what this film is. So we'll be watching that next week.
I'm expecting seagulls on strings.
I mean...
Like flapping into...
You're close. Penny, what's her socials?
You can find us on Instagram at Unusual Suspects Pod, which is where you can also find us on Facebook is Unusual Suspects Pod, and the only one that doesn't match is Twitter at Unusual Pod Spect. I'm at Penny_photobit.
Choice is 21.
Dan talks a lot, and we will be back next week. Talk about fun things.
And Andy's going to watch a film for next week, so that'll be good.
That's going to be fun. I bet it's like all the rest of his fucking films he's talked about the last few weeks. Jeez.
Fucking pajamas.
Dreadful.
We have a couple of fun features coming up in the next few months. I have one especially, which I'm fucking dreading so much. We'll talk about that another time, because I'm still thinking about it and I don't want to talk about it, and it's really dreading me. But anyway, thank you very much for listening to episode 15.
Thanks, guys.
We shall see you next time.
So long.
Bye.